What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. and Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the December 13th, 2024 edition of the SmackDown LowDown. Megan Moran, Scott Stanford in the studio, opening up the episode, hyping the return of Saturday night's main event for tonight, before running down the big headlines from Friday's SmackDown, and there weren't a whole lot of them. I'm just saying now. I mean, there were a few of them. They did discuss quite a few of them here. Like we had Strowman joining SmackDown, the announcement of the Tribal Combat match for the January 6th Raw on Netflix and whatnot. But overall, I was expecting a slightly better show for their go-home show for the big show tonight. But regardless, I thought it was fine for what it was. They replay the opening segment with Drew McIntyre attacking Jimmy Uso out of nowhere, out of McIntyre's frustration and vengeance towards the OG bloodline. We actually hear from McIntyre backstage here on the SmackDown LowDown for the first time, probably not ever, but the first time in a long time. And he says that he says to Byron Saxton he will not reveal what he talked to Nick Aldis about being on SmackDown on Friday night. But as he said in his busted open promo, he was not busted open while cutting the promo. But for those that missed it, he was on Busted Open on Thursday night in New York City for their holiday party or whatever, and cut this fucking incredible promo. The entire thing's available on Twitter if you find it, but it's also on his own Twitter as well. I don't know if it's the entire thing, but it was just incredible. He drops an F-bomb, or at least one or two of them, and then walks off. And he talks about how he's not going to give to the fans anymore. He's here to take. He gave a lot to them. He's here to take, and he's not going to give any more. He acknowledges that Sami Zayn, before they face off tonight at Saturday night's main event, has never beaten him before, which is, I think, true. And he said that even in their previous encounters, he's always held back. And he said he's not going to hold back anymore, and you might as well call your wife and tell her that you're not going to come home the same way. This was fucking great. It wasn't quite that busted open promo, but how could it have been? Check that promo out, and check this out. I thought this was really good. So they back in the studio, they preview McIntyre versus Zayn for the event tonight. They replay the Roman Reigns challenge vignette to Solo Sikoa to a tribal combat match on that January 6th Raw on Netflix. They also replay LA Knight facing Solo Sikoa, a match that Knight won by DQ following interference from the rest of the bloodline. They discuss the potential tribal combat match. I mean, it is happening. I was going to say, if it happens. I think Triple H even made it fucking official on a graphic on his Twitter. So it is definitely happening. It's not like, we got to wait till Solo accepts. It doesn't matter. Triple H posted it's happening. So I guess Solo doesn't have to accept. But yeah, they discuss that briefly. They replay Michin beating Tiffany Stratton to advance in the Women's United States Championship Tournament. We hear from Michin briefly backstage, and she says she was never supposed to be here. She was always expected to do other stuff, walk the dogs, have all these other jobs. She was never expected to make it to WWE. And when she tried out for WWE twice many years ago, she got no's both times. And that would make sense. I remember she was on an episode of NXT when Charlotte fucking Flair was there. We're going back a long time to 2013, 11 years ago. She was on an episode of NXT. I remember seeing Michin / Mia Yim on the independent scene in fucking 2010 when she was first starting out. And she tried out for WWE around that point. They did not sign her. She went to TNA instead. And it wasn't until after the Mae Young Classic, I think in 2017, or I think it was 2017 or 2018, that they finally signed her. And she talks about that, and the fans forced her hand after they were chanting her name after the Mae Young Classic. She said, please sign Michin. They didn't sign, please sign Michin. They said, please sign Mia. That's her name, and that's what she was going by at the time. But I get you don't want to bring up your previous name because that's not what you are currently. But anyway, she says when she wins that United States Championship at Saturday night's main event, it's not going to be just for her. It's going to be for everyone. So I thought this was a really good final promo for Michin. I don't think she's winning, but hopefully at some point she does win that title because she deserves it, and it's a great fit for her, I would say. They replay Bayley losing to Chelsea Green in the other semifinal tournament matchup, and we'll hear from Chelsea Green briefly backstage. She's more bothered than anything. She's not celebrating her win, her big win over Bayley, the biggest win of her entire career. She's instead having Piper Niven pick out shit from her hair for some reason. I don't know. She just vows to become champion, and that was it. And it will be red, white, and green, she says, after Saturday. Not red, white, and blue, but red, white, and Chelsea Green. Get it, whatever. They preview Michin versus Green in the finals of that tournament tonight. They also replay Braun Strowman arriving on SmackDown and becoming a SmackDown superstar and beating Carmelo Hayes. He is the newest acquisition to the Blue brand. So they then replay the ending to the show. It would have been nice to hear from Braun, but maybe next week. I guess we heard from him afterward backstage on SmackDown. I assume we see him in action again on SmackDown next week, facing like fucking Pretty Deadly or something after their interaction on this show. Or no, is he on the Grayson Waller effect? No, I think it's is he on the Grayson? I think he's on the Grayson Waller effect next week. I'm pretty sure. Is it him or someone else? I'm pretty sure it's Braun Strowman. Anyway, and that will probably lead to a match between him and Waller, then him and Theory, blah blah blah. So they replay the ending of the show with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens brawling before running down the entire Saturday night's main event card for tonight. So wanted to get this quick review in there before the show tonight, which I will be at, which is why I'm doing this early, putting it up a lot, earlier than usual. And so that was Saturday night's main event, or rather SmackDown LowDown. Saturday night's main event is tonight. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you guys for checking out this quick review, liking the video, dropping a comment, sharing the video, and subscribing to the channel for more daily content. Be sure to do more of that. All that support is greatly appreciated. If you haven't already, check out my full SmackDown audio review from last night. Went up earlier today at the same time this video is probably going up. And just keep an eye out for more content this weekend. Hoping to be posting stuff from the show tonight. Probably not. My fucking video storage is awful. So usually I would take live reaction videos, but I really can't because my video on my phone is terrible just in terms of the storage. I can't take any video. But it is what it is. So anyway, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the event tonight. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.